Hello, everyone. Welcome this Friday afternoon to the Massachusetts LGBT Chamber of Commerce first annual pitch. Today, with the generosity of Berkshire Bank and Eastern Bank, we raised money last year to be able to provide grants and other opportunities for our members and other LGBT-owned businesses in Massachusetts to compete for money, to obtain money, to get money so that we can survive the current atmosphere and to thrive out of the current atmosphere post-COVID and how our businesses are going. As you all know, the Chamber is here to serve all of you, every one of you, every LGBT-owned business, whether you have an idea and you're getting started or you're up to 50 employees and you need other assistance. We're here. We are proud to be here and we're proud of what we bring to the community. We have over 45 corporate sponsors and our membership grows daily thanks to the work of Thais DeMarco, who is our Director of Membership and Program, and the rest of the LGBT Chamber staff, Michael O'Neill, who is responsible for all the technical and all of the operations part of our work, and Owen, who is also on our team and helps with program and membership. We're very proud to be a part of this chamber and what we're bringing to the community. So today we have 6 competitors coming together after a long process to compete for 3 prizes. The first winner, the person with the first prize will get $10,000 towards their business so that they can continue to thrive and grow. Our second person that comes in second place will get $5,000. And the third will get $2,500 for their business. In addition, there are other prizes that I'll let Thais speak to as she introduces each one of the contestants. The scoring for this pitch has been complex, but also vast. The judges all have a scoring card for each of the competitors, and the scoring will range from everything from their price model to marketing to how well they describe their product and how much need there is and how well they're going to compete in the field. There's also a component of participation from the audience. All of you will be able to vote on your favorite. And the scoring of how you vote will give anywhere from 50 to 10 points based on who gets the highest points in the scoring guide. So the participation of the audience has a heavy weight, and that's because we really believe that a company who can bring together their supporters into a Friday afternoon pitch competition is going to be able to reach their customers probably tenfold. So again, welcome. Thank you for being here. There is a chat component where if you have questions or thoughts you want to share, if you're having a problem with something, please use that. And it is my greatest pleasure to introduce to you Thais DeMarco, who is our, again, Director of Membership and Program and a huge part of our team. Thais.
Thank you, Grace. Thank you for that intro, and welcome everybody to our very first pitch competition. This is very exciting for our team. This is very exciting for our 501c3 board. I know we're all really happy to be here and to listen to these pitches. So we've had a really great process so far with a lot of folks participating in the first and second cuts. And now here we are with our 6 finalists. I'm going to tell you a little bit about each of them, but first, I will let you know that everyone who's a finalist today is receiving the Capital Network membership as a prize. So everyone who's here today is going to be able to participate with TCN. They're a nonprofit. If you don't know their work, you should look into their amazing programming. They're an organization that provides hands-on education and mentoring with fundraising. So essentially teaching folks how to master the fundraising process for their enterprises and successfully raise seed capital and beyond to keep growing. So TCN memberships for everyone who's here today as a finalist, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about who our finalists are. So our first finalist is Action by Design. Our second finalist, and I'm telling you in the order that they're going to be pitching to. So the first to pitch is going to be Joshua Croak with Action by Design. second is going to be Olivier with OJC Artisan of Sound. Then we have Rodrigo Vargas with American Vinegar Works. Then we have Lina Akhtar with The Greater Us. Then we have Juan Arroyave with Kikos Coffee Tea. And then we have Daniel Brasloff with Freed Foodies. I'm going to give you more information about each of them right before they pitch, but then we're going to let them share more about their businesses with you today. The audience is going to have a chance to participate, as you all know. So we're very excited to have your voices heard today as well. So thank you for being here.
And we could not do this without the amazing board of our 501c3, five really committed folks to the community. Josiane Martinez, the president of that board, was unable to join us because she got called into a meeting with the governor. That's what happens when you have amazing people like Nancy and Malia and Manasa and Jennifer and Josiane, is that they get called to important things. So we jump in and fill in for each other. Quickly, just so you know who is in our who is judging this competition, I will be one of the judges stepping in for Josiane. Manasa Bradley is the treasurer of our 501c3 board. He runs the 10,000 Small Businesses program at Babson. He's been an entrepreneur, has worked on Wall Street. He helps with the Foundation of Business Equity, and he's straight up from Eastie, just a very committed to the small business community and hardworking member of our board. Also, we have Malia Lazou. She needs not a big introduction. We all know who Malia is. A community organizer, somebody I've known for a long time, speaks truth to power, a lecturer at MIT Sloan Business, former bank executive, and I could go on and on. Very, very thankful for the support that she's given us and for being a part of our 501c3 board. Nancy Stagers, also one of our 501c3 board members, one of the first people to work to pull together the Massachusetts LGBT Chamber of Commerce. Very committed, talks to me all hours of all days. President and CEO of Eastern Charitable Foundation, president of Business Equity, a foundation that works with Black and Latinx businesses, the chief HR officer at Eastern Bank, and the strongest ally often in these circles of LGBT inclusion. Very, very thankful for Nancy's participation. And then last but not least in any way, Jennifer Pink, who is a woman who really set the stage for women in construction, received all kinds of awards at a time where women in construction were even less appreciated than they are today. She's a construction guru, probably never, I know for a fact, probably was never late on a project or over budget. She's now a semi-retired from that work, although because she's an expert, I'm sure she handles lots of calls daily from people who are learning from her, and now spends her time as an artist. As you can see, some of her art is behind her. We will make sure to put you in touch with her website so that you can purchase some of that for your beach homes. What we have in our judges and in our board is a group of a very eclectically mixed group of people who have different knowledge about different parts of business. These are all people who care about the LGBT community deeply and the business community deeply. So they are giving up their Friday afternoon to be here with us, and they give up many an hours to be with us to figure out how we can best serve you. So now let's get to the fun. Let's listen to these pitches, let's do some scoring, and let's give away $17,500 before the night's over. So, Thais.
All right, so Michael is going to bring on Joshua Croak. Joshua's with Action by Design and our first finalist. So founder of Action by Design, a community design and innovation studio modernizing public participation by bringing people and technology together to build inclusive, equitable, and prosperous cities. So without further ado, here's Joshua. Joshua, it's nice to see you. Thank you for being here today. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. Happy to be here. All right, so do I just dive in? I know I'm the lucky first, so I'll share my screen. All right, let me know when this pops up.
There
We're
you go.
good.
Great. All right. Public participation in city development, as many of us know, is an outdated and ineffective way to engage people as we build cities and communities with a focus on inclusion, equity, and prosperity. I want to jump back for a moment and share a story that first opened my eyes to the opportunity we have to retool how we engage people to create ecosystems that work for everyone. In 2015, I had recently founded a nonprofit organization, and our first event was a community-wide think tank where residents, students, nonprofit leaders, city officials, and the business community broke into focus groups to discuss the city. Over 80 people, who often do not sit at the same tables, were brought together to identify and discuss community challenges. My team gathered quantitative and qualitative data through surveys and focus group recordings, found 3 common themes discussed related to the challenges in the city, and started a working group to create a solution that addressed all of them. This led to the creation of a 10-day mural and arts festival that is known as Powwow Worcester, where 12 large-scale outdoor murals were painted and featured events from dance parties to artist talks and enlivened the downtown with color and art that encouraged conversation and became the largest mural festival in New England. This got me thinking, what if we could use technology to streamline how these residents' ideas are shared and stored and used to make decisions? Residents are the experts of their own spaces, and understanding their needs, they understand their needs. We just need to build better systems that listen to these folks. I've been working on developing a community innovation toolkit and platform that uses technology to build collective intelligence. A fancy way of saying taking resident ideas and building a center of gravity around them so that they drive the development of their spaces. I've built a tech stack of existing products from Zoom to survey tools to virtual whiteboards that allows us to optimize how we collect and use information that we gather. I currently use this to build community engagement plans and design projects that are resident-centered, like a university looking to better connect with the city it's in, to a community organization with the goal of giving low-income youth access to technology resources. And this is who pays us right now. Finalizing the model and solidifying the framework is close to completion and is going to take about $20K of investment to finish phase 1 with a focus on technology costs and getting some sales support. This toolkit and future platform has implications for any organization that needs people's input, which should be everyone. Our first focus, however, is on mid-sized cities because I truly believe that these are the cities of the future. In Massachusetts alone, we have 26 cities defined as gateway cities because they anchor their regional economies around the state, like Worcester, Lowell, and Holyoke. Most of our competition right now also do community development or strategic planning firms. But what differentiates my approach is that as we build out the software platform part of this, those companies will also become our clients. Our vision is to go from consultant to platform provider for community innovation. Thank you for listening to a bit of my story, and let's move past public participation and build ecosystems of public power where all voices are heard as drivers for change.
Thank you so much, Joshua.
Thank you.
Thank you. And now we're going to have some time for Q&A from the judges. So judges, if you have any questions for Joshua.
Okay, I can get started. Joshua, do you see your clients being these cities themselves or different configurations of capital to pay your company?
I think cities will get there eventually, but I do think they're going to be not the first adopters of this concept, having been involved in this work in various capacities. I think community organizations and really coalitions of community organizations coming together will be the early adopters of this product.
Thank you, and great presentation.
Thank you so much.
I got a question for you. Do you believe that in the gateway cities where you're going to focus your interest, where there are more people of lower incomes and perhaps less ability to use or access technology, is a barrier to your product?
I think that there are barriers that are presented, but it's also a core focus of the work that I'm doing of looking at how do we better integrate and engage and make technology accessible for populations who have historically not been provided access to it. And part of this work would be to work with these coalitions and organizations to make sure that they have an access and technology plan in place to provide that access to community.
I have a question. Is there an app component to this or a technology component to this that will gather information, synthesize, use algorithms to maybe bring out large scale programs?
So in phase one, our focus is on solidifying the community innovation toolkit, which uses existing software platforms. But the platform that I also mentioned, I do envision as like an app or software solution that uses things like machine learning, artificial intelligence to identify trends and data as we pull information from communities and present it in a way that allows people to, of all different levels of education with data analysis, to understand and make actionable decisions off of that information.
Hey, Joshua, go ahead, Nancy.
I was just going to ask, and thanks for joining us today, Joshua, and especially for going first, because that can be a little bit rough, but we'll go easy on you. My question is, how do you see your product pivoting because of COVID-19 or another, hopefully not, but another pandemic or other instance where people have to be remote versus being able to join in person?
I think it actually makes the argument for the need of this product even greater. Now that people are connecting through technology, resources, and tools, the access point that was mentioned earlier about accessibility is so critical to make sure that families and students and residents have access to devices. But the ability to use this tool as a mechanism for sharing information in a more efficient way, I think is the future of how public participation can work in a way that synthesizes information, identifies trends. So much of the work that I do currently in my consulting work is finding and identifying people who are working on similar projects and bringing them together. And this tool is all about using technology to build a center of gravity around these conversations.
Joshua, so who are you going to be working with in the next 6, 12, 18 months? Like if you were to get, the money that you needed to sort of build out the platform, the 20K, what would your next steps be?
So our next steps are going to definitely partially is going to be pushing the sales funnel to help support the development of this project. It's also a very much like a evolving and like learning engine of the more we do work with community organizations and hear from the resident voices, the more we'll be able to build out the technology requirements and kind of the user experience elements of this, which is definitely one of the 6 to 12 month priorities is what are the top features that people might be looking to use. The phase one approach to this is to expand and enhance our current community innovation toolkit to be able to afford the technology resources utilizing multiple different software tools like Zoom and survey and assessment tools, data visualization tools. And right now I really curate all of those different systems into one kind of presentation to community. And the hope is to identify how to bring those systems together through a tool in the future.
All right, and have you priced this out yet?
I have not priced the software piece out yet, but I actually have a background in user experience design working with IoT technology development. So that definitely has a 200+ K ticket attached to that once we get into app and software development.
All right, thank you.
And Joshua, who is your team and who do you see yourself growing with?
So right now I am a team of one, and that's one of the things that I'm.
It happens. That's right. That's how it starts.
And I'm so fortunate because of the clients and the partners that I work with, as well as a lot of the volunteer work that I'm doing. I'm actually implementing a lot of the concepts for this community innovation toolkit with Worcester Education Equity Roundtable that I sit on, which it represents over 20+ youth serving organizations in our community. So we're implementing some of the survey and assessment tools and some of the process that we're trying to build. So we're going to actually have a good amount of real data once we start moving into a software design phase.
How do you think you'll handle the long lead on the budget cycle for municipalities? Because they do a lot of planning, but money gets allocated very early on in a budget cycle, or before the budget cycle.
That's right, and I hope at least my thoughts is that the initial implementation of the product will again be led by community organizations and coalitions. And then as the city adopts and works with and alongside the coalition, and as we ramp up the use and distribution of the product in the community, the city will start to allocate funds to support the initiative.
Okay, great, thanks.
All right, everyone. Thank you so much. We're going to give the judges a little bit of time to finish their scoring. Thank you so much, Joshua. Again, congratulations.
Thank you.
We appreciate it. So while we give the judges a little bit of time, before I tell you about our next contestant, I just want to remind everybody, all of the participants who are with us today, that if you are part of our LGBTQ community and if you own a business, please get in touch with me so I can tell you a little bit more about our chamber and invite you to join. My email is thais.demarco@malgbtcc.org. You can see the spelling of my name right there. I know it's a little bit tricky. It's a French opera. It's horrible. Massenet was not having a good day that day when he composed that. Not good, but here we are. So if you are a business owner, again, please connect with me so that I can tell you a little bit more about our chamber. How are you doing, judges? Do you need more time? Are you okay?
I think I'm okay. I would like to, I'm not paying attention to my totals, but I'm not sure it's working exactly properly.
Okay, so Michael will check in with you, Jennifer, to make sure that that's tabulating properly. So next up, we have OJC Artisan of Sound, a company that translates into music a brand's DNA, giving them a unique voice by composing tailored musical solutions for a full spectrum of strategic uses. Olivier, welcome. I think you're muted still, Olivier. There you are. Hi.
Okay, here we go. Hi,
How are you?
I'm Olivier Jamie. I'm sorry?
Congratulations. It's good to see you.
Oh, yeah, good to see you as well. Thank you, Thais. So I'm Olivier Jamin Chanchard. I'm a classically trained pianist, composer, and passionate about music. I'm the founder of OJC Artisan of Sound, a sonic branding boutique that brings brands to life by designing and deploying unique sonic identities through the power of music and sound. Today, we are bombarded by so many content that our attention gets diluted, and brands are craving to connect more genuinely with their audience and make a better use of audio. In addition to that, the world is going through a sonic boom. Podcasts and audiobooks are growing exponentially. In addition to that, smart speakers and voice-activated devices have invaded our household computers and laptop. So if I had to ask you what sonic branding is, most of you would tell me about sonic logo, like these ones. And you would be partially right, but of course it's more complex than that. Think about a flexible system that can be optimized and adapted through various audio communication touchpoints in a consistent manner. So we only have 3 minutes, and I cannot give you various examples. But let's talk about one that everybody knows. Listen. And I'm going to stop now because I'm pretty sure, hopefully, you all recognize the James Bond theme, the James Bond themes. Since 1961 to present, this theme has been interpreted by the best artists in the world, and they brought to the brand consistency and cohesiveness. They provide excitement, and they connect instantly the audience. And that's what sonic branding does. It enhances recall, it builds trust, and music, gets under customer skin. It bypasses logic and drives the purchase intent. Since the launch of OJC in 2019, we have already got many clients in the biotech, in the tech, and in the high-end food, small and medium-sized businesses, but also solo entrepreneurs. We have connected very generously with so many different organizations, like the Chamber, like the French and American Chamber of Commerce, or the American Marketing Association. in the 5 upcoming years, we want to be in the top 5 sonic branding boutique in the US. And we can achieve that because, first of all, sonic branding is a nascent market. And a lot of people are, there's no competitors, only 9 in the US and 40 worldwide. And the second reason is all of these people, the market is huge. And any company, B2B and B2C, who already have a visual identity can pair with that, adding a third dimension, sound. So to conclude, I would like to give you an interesting fact about the hearing sense, which is the only one that cannot be shut down. We cannot close our ears. We cannot stop listening. Sound is always on. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Olivier. Q&A, judges?
Yeah, so throughout the process, I've always wondered what your sound is. We've yet to hear it.
I'm sorry?
Throughout the process, we've yet to hear what your sound is. So what is your sonic brand?
Oh, so my sonic brand, I mean, I don't have the time to play it, but the process is really to translate into music the personality of the brands. So I did a lot of work on that. And after like I would say a month ago, I created my own sonic branding, my sonic DNA, yes.
Thank you.
Do you see your clients as other consultants who are rebranding, or do you see corporations and entities themselves? Which is your primary market?
Or corporate and entities themselves, yes. I really try to work directly with these people because most of the time I try to approach marketing agencies and they most of the time don't understand the concept. They get it, but they don't know how to translate it to their clients. So I'd rather work directly with corporates, yes.
And do you see yourself growing and targeting larger companies? So like, you know, Marriott, like, you know, larger chains, the way the Scent logo has hit the market?
So right now, yes, I started not even 2 years ago and I got my first big clients, I would say a biotech. So my goal, of course, is to grow and to create a team around me and to reach out bigger clients. Yes, that's the goal. But you know, again, I'm happy to work with anyone because I'm very convinced that adding a sound to a branding can really create a more genuine, you know, genuine link between the targeted audience and a service or a product.
Do you have any empirical information or studies that you've seen that show that adding a sonic element to the definition of a corporate identity adds value to the company?
Well, there's a lot of studies talking about how music brings emotion and how it acts on the brain on a subconscious level. This is why I think brands are very, sonic branding can be very powerful to really brings brands to life again.
Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you, Olivier, for being here today. Congratulations again.
Thank you.
Thank you, thank you. Up next, American Vinegar Works. Rodrigo Vargas from American Vinegar Works, a new startup and New England's only full-line premium vinegar maker focused on creating great vinegars with a sense of place. And we're going to just wait for a moment while Rodrigo gets added to our meeting.
Hi, good afternoon, everybody. Thanks for joining me to chat vinegar.
It's good to see you. Welcome. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. So I'm going to share my screen and then we can get started.
We'll get started.
Please let me know when you see the screen and I will get going.
You see it now.
Awesome. Okay. So I'm Rodrigo Vargas and I am the founder of American Vinegar Works. We make great American vinegars that elevate cooking and cocktails. But before I talk to you about vinegar, I thought we should talk about everything else that's going on in the grocery store shelf, which is if you look at coffee, if you look at chocolates, if you look at beer, everything is premiumized. The products are better, they look better, they taste better, they're made more thoughtfully. But vinegar is pretty much in the dark ages. You either get acid bombs like Heinz, or you're using distilled vinegar, or you're paying a lot for subpar imports. And that's the market gap that I'm really looking to be able to address. For premium American vinegars, we're different in a lot of different ways. We only use craft American alcohol. That means beers, wines with a sense of place. We've developed, revived a production process from the 1800s that we worked with local universities to make. And that all translates into incredible vinegars that the New York Times has recently called complex and balanced. When you look at the market, vinegar isn't a fad like other product categories. Over 57% of households already use vinegar in the household. And then if you zoom in to the top 40% of households, that's 29 million households consuming over 77 million bottles of vinegar, all this despite having very little choice and selection on the vinegars that they're using. That's a market of $900 million. What we're doing is introducing a premium but accessible product, $10 to $12, 60 cents a serving, so that we can get broader distribution and get better vinegar into more people's hands. It's been a year. We started as a market test in the beginning of 2019. We really didn't sell our first bottle until the summer of 2019 in farmers markets. And we've had tremendous momentum. Specifically, we were quickly picked up by the top specialty stores, think Formaggio. We're in Roche Brothers Marketplace. We were recognized nationally. So the Good Food Awards picked us as the only vinegar in the Northeast to be recognized in 2020 for its quality and its production. And importantly, we were selected to be part of Chobani's incubator program. If you're not familiar, Chobani is the gold standard for food incubator programs. They accept less than 1% of all participants, which tells us they see a tremendous amount of market potential for vinegar as a category, and specifically that American Vinegar Works is the company that can get you there. What we're doing now is actually raising capital to increase production because we can't meet the demand of producers that have reached out to us with the test market setup that we have. So we're hoping that you will join us and help get more vinegar in people's hands. Thank you very much, and I look forward to answering your questions.
Thank you so much, Rodrigo. Judges.
Rodrigo.
Yes.
How can we buy your product today? You know, where we're all living in this COVID remote world.
Yeah.
Some of us don't want to go out to the grocery store at Roche or wherever. Do you have a way to purchase online, or?
I love the plug, Nancy. I love the plug. Yes. So I have an e-commerce store. And in fact, I was actually selected to be part of Shopify, which powers a lot of e-commerce businesses. They selected a couple of companies nationally this year to be part of their kind of incubator facilitator type of program. So I've been building out my e-commerce presence. Slow Food USA has reached out, and they're going to be including me in their, they do a box 4 times a year with about 6 products that really recognize high quality products. So I'll be in their box, and you can buy that online. And there's some new online markets that have reached out and want to include me. And they will be going live, I think, within the next month. And final plug, I'm working on putting together gift sets, both for corporate as well as for consumers, that will have some great little products and really nice bundles, and they will all be live well before Thanksgiving.
For your production, are you looking, it's a little bit like a brewing facility?
Yeah, so Jennifer, this could be a great question. Oh, is that your question, or do you have?
No, I was just, I assume you want your own and not, are you currently sharing or using excess capacity at some other location?
Correct. So I make everything out of Lowell, and I have a back room of a great community organization, so I'll give them a plug, called UTech, that work with young adults who are formerly incarcerated. They're letting me use one of their back rooms to set up. Vinegar is not like a cookie. You don't make it and walk away. I actually need a setup, and they've been wonderful. It's just the space is quite constrained, and the equipment that I have in there is small. It will look kind of like a brewery, except I will have to bring in my own equipment. As I mentioned, nobody makes vinegar this way anymore. So I'm working with the University of Maine to finalize a scaled version of my equipment so that I both have high quality and scalability from a commercialization perspective. So I'll leave this out there. If anybody knows of a 3,000 square foot space with floor drains that's dirt cheap, I'll take it. Anywhere in Massachusetts, just let me know. I'll travel.
How long would you expect a 3,000 square foot facility would be good for?
You know, it'll actually last me quite a while, given the production method that I use and the potential to outsource components afterwards. So specifically, once I ferment and age, I could send out totes to bottlers to repackage while still maintaining complete authority over the product itself. So at a minimum, this should take me to a 4 or 5 year mark, at which point I can evaluate what makes sense in terms of a next production perspective. And I'm making the equipment so that it's modular. So I've mapped out my cash flow so that I'm only raising enough capital to be able to cover the cumulative negative cash flow and keep the business going. As I mentioned, I have profit margins, gross profit margins above 50%. So after the initial infusion, I should be able to scale appropriately. And keep the business going.
Okay, I have one last question from the judges because we need to move on to the next contestant. Your price, how does your price compare to the product that's out there?
Yeah, so they were broad, as I mentioned, depending on who's selling, not where it's selling, not the product, but where it's selling. It sells between $10 and $12 a bottle, so 60 cents a serving. That would be more than double of like a red wine Holland House type of vinegar, which is very low of a product. It would be very competitive with most of the balsamic vinegars that you would see in the marketplace. And as far as a premium relative to like an accessible premium product, my multiples are significantly lower than you would find, for instance, in a coffee, where you can get your Maxwell House versus your local coffee. So I'm specifically priced to be accessible and to achieve distribution while still having a very good product that's been selected in blind taste tests.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thais.
guys.
Thank you so much, everyone. So judges, please finish your scoring, and I will just let everyone know. So folks who are in the audience today, you're going to have a chance to participate. As you know, you're going to have a chance to pick your favorite. This is going to happen at the end. There's going to be a poll once everyone has presented their pitches, and you'll be able to select your favorite. Thank you again, Rodrigo, for your presentation. And judges, how are we doing? Are we okay?
Give me a minute, please.
Sure thing. So again, the poll is going to happen at the end, folks. I know we had a couple of questions in our Q&A box from all of you. I know you're excited to vote.
So just as I take some time here as back to our chamber business, if you're not on our mailing list, please get onto our website, MALGBTCC.org, and get on our mailing list so you get the newsletter every month, and you hear about what we're doing. If you're a business and you want to be a part of this amazing membership organization, please contact Thais, as she mentioned earlier. And any other business ideas or thoughts you might have, we're here to serve. Judges, when you're ready, please let us know if you're ready to move forward.
Ready.
Looks like we're good.
Thank you. All right, so next up, the Greater Us. The next contestant is Lina Akhtar, founder and principal of The Greater Us, a consulting firm that does trauma-informed diversity, equity, and inclusion work. Welcome, Lina.
Thank you so much, Thais.
Welcome. Congratulations. Thank you for being here today.
Wonderful.
And I will let you take it from here.
Great, thank you. So at The Greater Us, we are developing a system, a model for trauma-informed self-care. The purpose of this is to help people who are doing difficult work stay energized enough to sustain that work, whether it's in service to other people or working towards systemic change. We'd be using these funds to develop this system into an online course, into our interactive workshops, and eventually to license it out to organizations. Now, for most people, the phrase self-care evokes things like tea, meditation, walks, baths. I call this the tea and bubble baths approach. Some of the things that suggests the advice on diet, exercise, sleep, absolutely are important. But when we're talking about work, which regularly exposes us to trauma, ours or other people's, the tea and bubble baths approach is just not enough. I used to do rape crisis work, and I wrote a dissertation about sexual violence and trauma, which exposed me constantly to other people's trauma. And the usual self-care advice just did not cut it. And that's because it wasn't taking into account the impact of work that was more than just high stress. I also used to work in finance. That was high stress, but it didn't constantly confront me with the knowledge of human vulnerability or the darker aspects of human nature. Trauma-informed self-care ultimately helps to mitigate burnout. Burnout looks like this. People do work they care about deeply. Maybe they're lawyers, grievance officers, work at a nonprofit. Right now, maybe they're hospital workers or educators. It's rough and it's taxing. Often their organizations don't know how to support them. So they'll sustain it for as long as they can, pushing way past their comfort, and then they wear out and develop symptoms because they've been exposed so much to other people's trauma. Maybe they leave, costing the organization time and money in training, hiring, and lost institutional knowledge. Maybe they stay and become jaded and don't function like they did before. The cost is paid by everybody, the person who burned out, the organization, and the people or communities being served. Now, trauma-informed self-care is about taking protective measures, measures that mitigate the harms of repeated exposure to trauma by protecting the heart and protecting the mind. Now, if some of this is resonating with you, it is not a coincidence. 2020 is a runaway, downhill, rolling dumpster fire, which has followed on several already hard years. I've found myself using these strategies over and over and over. And in that sense, I believe they have wide applicability, especially for people who are being targeted right now because of who they are. The need for something like this has become increasingly obvious in the course of our diversity, equity, and inclusion work. And this funding would enable us to develop a core set of assets using our intellectual property. It would enable us to, we have plenty of content lined up that would lend itself beautifully to be integrated into graphic, video, and even animation eventually, as well as interactive online workshop formats. It would enable us to adapt these assets into an online interactive learning course as an entry-level offering, and then to develop free teaser materials. And the plan is to use those to generate interest in partnerships with larger organizations for whom and with whom we would customize this model. We're thinking of people like continuing legal education organizations. That's an $800 million a year and growing industry, unions with grievance officers, and so on. Ultimately, however, this funding would enable us to roll out something that is very badly needed at the moment, which is a way of mitigating the stress of what is happening in the world right now, while helping people who are doing good work keep their spirits alive and energized enough to keep fighting for what they believe in the most. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Lena. Thank you for your presentation. Judges, Q&A.
Who would you say is your competition in this space?
So that's a great question. There are no other DEI firms that are integrating a trauma-informed approach into their work, and trauma-informed self-care is not something that I see out there at all. So we don't have very much competition right now. Obviously, there are other DEI firms, and in terms of people who are doing work on things like racial trauma and so on, those are individuals, therapists who've written books, et cetera, but not DEI consultants who have models like the ones we work with.
What are you pricing your products at?
The response with the, it's so smart to tie the trauma base, and as you said, gets into the post-traumatic slave disorder thinking. How do you see companies responding to this, this foundation?
So I see a couple of things. One, I have been aware, especially in the last 3 months, given everything that's happening, that people are perking up and understanding what the impact of racialized trauma is on their, what I'm going to call historically excluded employees. So people who have identities, people who've been marginalized in this country for centuries, what is happening right now is overtly traumatic, and there's an increasing realization of that. So I'm seeing a lot of receptivity. I'm also seeing people who maybe are racially isolated in their companies wanting spaces to come together and think through and build community and build solidarity. So that's another space in which we're working.
Great, great.
How are you pricing your products and services?
Yeah, so there are a few products and services, as you've probably surmised. The online course that we're going to offer to our website, I want that to be an entry-level offering where people can get a sense of what we're up to. Something like $50, $75, not a huge barrier to entry. For the interactive workshops, there's a couple of options. Because for folks who work at nonprofits and things like that, we could have the organization sponsor it. I priced out how much I would charge if I went into a nonprofit tomorrow and did some work with them. And let's say for a 50-person nonprofit, about $30,000, which if this prevents 2 to 3 people from walking out the door, already pays for itself. If it prevents 5 to 7 people walking out the door, it's an investment. And then in terms of working with bigger organizations, like continuing legal education organizations, a few $100s for a live face-to-face workshop, like $250, something like that. And then for people who are just doing the course on demand, just the online version of it, less than that, priced through the continuing legal ed organization. I'm seeing things like, 125, et cetera. So that's what I'm thinking right now.
Thank you.
All right, judges, any other questions? All right, thank you so much. Thank you again, Lena. Congratulations again on being a finalist in our pitch competition. Appreciate having you here. Thank you.
Thank you for having me. So thrilled. Thank you.
All right, so we'll give the judges a little bit more time to score. And please let me know when you're done. And in the meantime, I would like to let the participants know that we at the Chamber do a lot of programming for our members and for our community generally. And so those programs are often accessible to anybody who can benefit from what we're doing. And our next webinar is next week. It's going to be on the Paycheck Protection Program and what the forgiveness guidelines are going to be for those loans. So if you got a PPP loan and you're curious about what you're going to have to do to get those loans, to get that loan forgiven, please join us next week. You can get more information on our website and you can register for our webinar there. We're going to have folks from the Massachusetts District Office of the SBA. We're going to be joining us and telling our members what they're going to have to do. All right, so we're going to give it a little bit more time. Are we all set, judges?
I'm set.
Wonderful. All right, so next up, we have Kikos Coffee and Tea. Up next is Juan Arroyave from Kikos Coffee and Tea, a home for coffee and tea lovers.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you very much for having me here and for allowing me to participate. Do you see my first slide now?
Not yet.
Thank you very much and welcome to Kikos Coffee and Tea, a home for coffee and tea lovers.
Juan, we don't see your slide yet.
Oh, sorry. Let me try it. I didn't share my screen.
Sorry, my dog says hi.
Let's start the timing now. Michael?
So, welcome to Kikos Coffee and Tea, a home for Kikos for coffee and tea lovers. And that's our main goal, to unite families and to create a single home with our products. We specialize in different origins of coffee and organic tea and accessories. And just to tell you a little bit about myself, I've been in the logistics and online business for 5 years. And that's the experience that bucked me up to create Kikos Coffee along with my partner and to be able to provide good customer service and fast shipping. So in Kikos Coffee, we saw an opportunity in the US market. Tea and coffee segment is growing by 3.6% and 8.7% every year. And that's forecasted to 225. The second and third product most consumed beverages in US is coffee and tea, 63% and 47%. All of that consumption, 90% eats at home. So that's why we have an online market. We incorporated our tea because of these two. So let's talk a little bit about our numbers. Yes, we do have gross profit of almost $13,000, and this is growing and increasing because we have very low overhead, and we have more capacity to keep functioning and increasing sales with these costs. But how do we seize that opportunity? All of those numbers, how does that represent us? We increase our sales channels and portfolio diversity. We have not only coffee, but tea, but also corporate gifts. And we have partnered with other companies such as Romeo and Juliet, Toasted Flats, and many others to sell their products in our websites. We also have an online sales in the entire country, not only in our website, but 20 others websites sell our coffee and products. We also have the white label coffee, which other brands have their coffee, but it's really our coffee with their name. We have one client, and this week we closed another client. We have wholesale restaurants, online stores, grocery stores, and bakeries. And corporate gifts. The corporate gifts, we closed a deal this month with Eureka, and they send this bag here to their top donors. So it has coffee and all of the Kikos products. And we also sell coffee to our offices. So the most important here is that Kikos coffee, that a great cup of coffee and tea is never too far away with Kikos. And for you to try that, please go to our website, kikoscoffeeandtea.com, and at the checkout, use the promo code MALGBTCC, and you'll get a 16% discount there. So please try our products. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Juan. Judges, any questions?
Juan, what makes your coffee different than other coffees? Why am I gonna buy your coffee?
Well, let's start that we help communities starting in Colombia. We buy the coffee from local coffee farmers. Then we roast our coffee in a family-owned business roastery, and they only employ head of households, family members that they have to support their kids. Then let's go here in US. When we pack the bags and the tea, we employ 3 people. One of them has disabilities. She's blind, and she works with us. Also, we have someone working with 64 years old, and she helps me pack, grind coffee, and do everything. So we also interact and work with other LGBT businesses to grow together. So that's what makes us different. We're building community. We're not only building a business.
But what's good
Like
about
in terms of the quality of coffee?
that's a great incentive, but my wife likes a good cup of coffee. So what makes your coffee different? Is it processed different? Is it roasted different? Is there any difference in your coffee than
Yes,
regular
it is
coffee?
different coffee. So generally when you buy any other brand, they sell Robusta coffee, which is very bitter and very cheap, right? Our coffee is ripped by the plants by hand, and the other coffees are ripped, or not everyone, but some of the other coffees are ripped by machines. So that allows us to select the good and the mature beans, so our coffee is not bitter. Also, the roasting process, we selected our own roasting curve, which is different to any other medium dark roast or dark roast. So even our dark roast, if you compare it with other brands, is not as dark and bitter as the competitors. And that's why our dark roast now, our sales are increasing with the dark roast that we included in our portfolio a few months ago, because it's still dark, bold, but not bitter. So, and that goes in the roasting process. It took us 3 months to get to the correct formula of the roasting of the beans.
So let me ask you a question. I am a coffee fanatic. I drink it all day long. Like I'm talking, I'm single, I'll drink 2 pots a day. It's just, I'm an addict. What makes, so I hear what you're saying about the different processing methods, but from a branding perspective, what's gonna make me pull your bag off the shelf versus one of the millions of other coffee roasters that are out there? I mean, I'm in Providence and there's gotta be 20 coffee roasters around me. Why would I pull your bag off a shelf versus somebody else's?
Well, yes, and many other coffees are similar and they're just in a bag, right? But in the packaging, now we're incorporating all of our certifications. Where are we coming from? We're minority business, certified, LGBT certified, and those are, and socially good. We also have a foundation that we donate, and we have donated more than 400 pounds. So people now are looking for that, and that's included in the packaging now. And that's a recent addition that we had for the past month. So we're including that information there, also in our website. So now actually some of the sales that we got, we just closed a deal of 100 pounds for a company in Virginia. And they selected us for that process because we give back, because we're minority, we're LGBT. So that is the difference. Now, if you go to Starbucks, well, that's a multinational. You're not really helping local companies. And now with COVID, everybody's trying to help local. Buy local, and support your own community. Plus, if you live in Boston, I ship the same day or next day some of our products, not all portfolio, but some of them. That is how we differentiate from the other brands.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much, Juan. Congratulations again on being a finalist in the pitch competition. Appreciate you being here. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Thais.
All right, judges, we'll give you a little bit more time to finish scoring. Again, quick reminder to the folks who are in our audience today, you're going to have a chance to help choose the winner a little bit later. So once everyone has presented, you will have the opportunity to participate in a poll. Once the poll goes up, and I'll say this again, but once it goes up, you'll have 3 minutes to make your selection. And then we will go from there. Judges, how are we doing? Do you need a little bit more time? Good. Okay.
Good.
Good. Vanessa, good? Yep. Perfect. All right. We are coming to the end of our pitch competition today. We have our last contestant, Freed Foodies. And this is the quote that we got from them. Our final pitch comes from Daniel Braslaw from Freed Foodies, a company that helps individuals with dietary restrictions make baked goods without compromise. So
Thank you.
Daniel, thank you so much for joining us today. Daniel, congratulations on being a finalist in our pitch competition.
Thank you so much for having me and continuing this far. Let me share my screen so that I can get started. Can everyone see my screen?
Yes.
Condense this over here. Awesome. So I'm Daniel Brasloff. I'm the founder of Freed Foodies. I grew up with celiac and tree nut allergies. And like many other individuals in my situation, I struggled to find quality baked goods and baking mixes. I spent the past 1.5 years researching flour blends and came out with my own multi-purpose flour blend to have better quality baking mixes for gluten-free freedom. Our mixes are major 8 allergen-free and corn-free to suit other common allergens. We sell for $5 online and at local stores. Our cost of goods went down from $2.93 to $1.65 through tons of research and experimentation. We have a 67% gross profit. As you can see, the biscuits on the right of the slide are an example of a baked good using our mix. Our recipes really focus on quality and avoiding sacrifice. So our biscuits are typical to Southern biscuits. They're fluffy, they melt in your mouth, they're buttery. Our pizza dough, one of our flagship recipes, is thicker than our competitors, comes out with a better texture and better all even browning. We also brought in a lot of eco-friendliness with our brand. So our pouches are compostable, we repurpose boxes and packing materials whenever possible. Our target customers are young professionals to middle-aged individuals with dietary restrictions, mainly gluten-free and other celiac and other dietary restrictions. We've done a lot of market research to justify our model, which includes direct to customer and direct to consumer. The businesses we work with include Monica's Mercado, a grocer in the North End. We work with Bite Me Cupcakes and other bakeries in the New England region, and we're also working to get stocked and help produce products in local restaurants. We've done lots of market research, and we noticed that 2019 saw baking as the top growth contributor to gluten-free as a subset of grocery in the US. We also noticed a 30% projected growth in gluten-free baking mixes from 2018 to 2024. So that'll be a $455 million industry by then. Lastly, roughly 1/3 of Americans claim they'll cook at home more post-COVID. All what we feel justifying our model of a business. So a bit of background on us. So I'm Daniel Brasloff. I attended Babson College, studied operations technology and design. I've had much recent experience in SEO, marketing, sales, and tons of other e-commerce focuses on the business. I handle and oversee all aspects of the company as sole founder. My culinary background comes from a semester studying gastronomy at SET University in Barcelona. Our marketing intern and guru, Nisha, is a marketing major at Bentley. She designs and creates our social media, email marketing, and paid ad content, and she runs her own henna business. So together we pool our operations, creative, project management backgrounds together to collaborate. Wyndham Grows is a program that continues to help us explore and extend our business growth as well as branch food. Lastly, some areas we focus on include online growth with our email marketing, newsletters, our website with recipe features, and we're exploring lots of product options and variables. Thank you for this opportunity, and we hope to bring you on as part of our Freed Foodies fam.
I have a question for you. Do you see, are you a business to business sales or business to consumer?
Both. So we sell online on our website, on Etsy. We're getting on some gluten-free drop shipping platforms. And we also sell at, as I mentioned, Monica's Mercado in the North End and some other grocers in the area that are working with us trying to get us stocked.
I'm sorry if I missed it, but how big is this market? My wife is gluten-free, but so I know about it, but how big is the market? I know a lot of people are, but do you know that information?
Yep, so roughly right now, it's expected to be around high 300s, $300 million industry, and it's expected to get to 455 by 2024.
And are you producing in your home kitchen now?
So we work with a restaurant nearby that has unused space that they dedicate to make sure everything's following proper allergen and legal requirements so that we can suit our customers' needs. And we're all local based. We're based out of Cambridge and work with a lot of local vendors and producers. Also something to mention are, we are corn free because we use a Maine-based producer of small batch baking mixes. One of the only companies that does corn-free baking powder, sorry.
So what is your next step in scaling your business? What are your next steps?
Sure. So we took feedback from our first run. We made 100 units in May, sold all of them. We produced 300 last week and sold all 25 so far. Right now, we're taking data from both these rounds to justify if we continue with this model, if we do larger scale mixes, or if we go into wet dough, so pizza dough, biscuit doughs, recipes that our customers enjoy and at scale, a lot of other customers would like to have closer to the final product. And we'll be continuing to test and working with out of our restaurant space to see if we can actually get that finished product in their hands to better vet that concept.
Now, just a follow-up question, have you attempted to work with any food incubators like Commonwealth Kitchen or the such?
Yeah, so I was hard with all the timing, but we're actually part of Wyndham Grows, which is a Brattleboro-based food business accelerator. We've been a part of them since May. There's weekly sessions that prep us on everything from packaging, marketing, sales, business plans, and they've really helped us pivot and understand our model so that we can succeed during COVID. We're also part of Branch Food, which is, I'm not sure if anyone's familiar, but they are a great community builder in the Boston area and nationally for food business.
Thank you so much, Daniel.
So everyone, while the judges are gone, they're going to be gone for 3 to 5 minutes just to come back with the scores of winners and with some with that information. I am going to entertain you, and to entertain you, I am going to sing. That's not true. I'm not going to sing. I'm sorry. If I were to sing, bad things would happen. So this is the part that everybody's been waiting for, okay? And this is the part where you get to vote. Thais, why don't you give us instructions?
Sure. So the poll should have popped up for everybody. Please vote only one time. Please don't vote from multiple devices. Vote only once for your favorite pitch of the day today. So you have Action by Design, OJC Artisan of Sound, American Vinegar Works, The Greater Us, Kikos Coffee and Tea, and Freed Foodies. You have them in order there. We're going to leave the poll up for 3 minutes so that you can vote and pick your favorite. So now I'm waiting for Grace to sing.
That's not going to happen. If you do vote more than once, we will see that, and we will take the votes out. So I see a question from one of our participants that asks, can you tell us a little bit about the criteria that the judges use to evaluate the pitches? Manasa Bradley, who's on our board and who is the 10,000 business instructor from through Babson, worked with a standard pitch template that we then weighed by score and set out into how we looked at everything from their marketing plan, from the way they explained the product, for what they looked at, showed to market opportunity, for how they showed differentiators of why their business and their product is better, of the need, various other such categories that we took through through our judging. And then there was some on delivery and excitement and clarity and stuff like that. Does that answer your question, person who asked here? All right, so let me, I'm not gonna sing. I will spare all of you from that, that horrific situation. Thais, however, is an excellent singer. And I'm sure that if you you can Google her. I'm sure she's got her own YouTube channel or whatever. She'll give you her autograph. I want to say, you know, while we wait for the judges to get back, that as the executive director, CEO of this chamber, it has given me, through the last 4 or 5 months, it's been a real opportunity to get to know many of you, many of our members, and how well the LGBTQ community has come together, particularly in these times of racial injustice that has been amplified, that we are all experiencing our own shame about, whether it's by association, whether it's by not knowing what to do, whether it's about our growth. I think it's important for us as an LGBTQ community and the allies that come together for us to really continue to do that work around racial equity and inclusion and anti-racist work directly. I have a son who will be a brown man one day, and one of the things that I say to folks when I'm asked to speak about this is that if white boys were dying, it wouldn't be happening. The reason that this continues to happen is because these are Black and brown boys that are dying at the hands of police brutality and other things. And as a community, we need to come together because there is no justice for anyone until there's justice for all of us. And at the Chamber, we strongly believe that economic justice is a big focus for human beings, because without economic justice, nothing really else is possible. If you don't have enough money to feed yourself, to provide yourself with health insurance, to provide yourself with a comfortable life, because there is an opportunity based on who you are in the world, then it's our advocacy job to advocate on your behalf and to assist in making sure that you get a piece of the pie that is out here for us to consume. So I want to thank everyone for being here tonight and for providing us with your incredible, enthusiastic pitches for our folks that did the pitches. I want to say that each one of the people who presented have been a part of our chamber in one way or another. Lena served as our liaison in the western part of the state before COVID happened for a long time, a truly amazing professional and an amazing person. If you know of anybody who needs her services, you should definitely connect them to her. There is, we have our own sonic sound. Olivier created our sound pro bono for us. It was an amazing process, and we're very grateful to Olivier for doing that. He is an incredible artist, an incredible person. Juan has provided all of us with coffee, and I have to say that he is the reason I'm still married, because at the beginning of COVID, when it was taking weeks to get grocery delivery, we ran out of coffee, and my wife got on his website and the coffee was delivered within 3 hours. And I really do believe that, you know, we could get, so at that point we could get alcohol delivered through Drizzly, and we could get coffee, but we couldn't get eggs and milk. So if anybody's looking for a business opportunity, eggs, milk, and bread are still very needed as we enter into this continued pandemic time. But same as you know, all the other members that have pitched, it's just been a real opportunity to be a part of organizations that are saying, listen, we're not going to sit down and we're not going to just let this thing take over. We are going to be an active part of our own future, of our own well-being. And so we've pivoted, we've all come together and have really figured out ways to better our own businesses and our own products. So we are waiting on the judges now. And Michael, do we have a sense of when they will be back?
I am checking on that right now.
Sorry, I'm just going to jump in too and say thank you to Joshua, who presented today as well. They presented a great webinar for us at the Chamber. And again, there's video of that on our YouTube channel, and you can see that we've had just such a wonderful time, even during this pandemic, with our members really coming together and providing support to one another, and creating opportunities for interaction within the chamber, you know, with supporting us with our programming, supporting one another with services and different things that they have needed. And Joshua jumped up when we needed somebody to present a webinar, and their work was great. Rodrigo, and I ordered the vinegar, by the way. Did I tell you this, Grace?
No, I didn't hear the story.
I have Rodrigo's vinegar. I ordered 4 different kinds. Amazing. I can give you all the details of what I got. Oh my gosh, so great. It emulsifies beautifully for my salad dressings. Anyway, and they come with recipes too, which is amazing. So great. So wonderful to see everyone here today. So wonderful to see them pitching their ideas and their products, and going through this process with us as we did this for the very first time as a chamber. So thank you again to everyone who participated today. And Daniel, looking forward to getting to know you better too. Thank you for being here today.
So it sounds like we have some scores. Okay, so who has, Malia, you've got my drum roll. So, ladies and gentlemen, for the winner of a $2,500 grant from the Massachusetts LGBT Chamber of Commerce for winning 3rd place in the 1st annual pitch competition, we have Malia.
Play it.
I did. You guys didn't hear it?
No.
Sounds like a.
Can't hear it. Sorry. Try to drum roll. Never mind. Third place, we've got Freed Foodies. Freed Foodies, can we bring you up to the screen?
And yes, bringing you up in one moment.
Oh,
Hey.
All right. Congratulations,
Daniel,
Daniel.
you're on mute, Daniel. There you go.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
I just want to say thank you so much, and this has been an amazing process. I really appreciated learning more about your organization, and this has really been helpful in me honing in my own pitching, figuring out everything with the business. So thank you so much.
Great. I'm glad you thought it was a good process. Thanks.
All right, Freed Foodies, looking forward to providing my wife with the gluten-free products. Because it turns out I have to eat them too, so we always want them to be improving in quality. Thank you so much for the work you're doing, for joining us. For the second place winner of today's pitch competition, and Malia's trying to do a drum roll. All right. For is nobody, an amazing part of our community, a great, we have a great debt to, and who we're excited about. Olivier, OJC Artisan of Sound, second place. We bring Olivier on.
you're muted.
I'm not. Wow. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the judges. I'm very grateful. It was an amazing process from, the get-go, and yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you, Olivier. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, and then last and first.
Ready? 1, 2, 3, go.
All right, so again, this is OJ Artisan of Sound receives a $5,000 award for second place in the annual pitch competition. Very grateful and thankful for that. And this year's #1 winner with a $10,000 prize so that they can go off and make us more vinegar is American Vinegar Works.
Yay.
Very good. Congratulations.
All right, Rodrigo. Are you with us, Rodrigo?
I am. Thank you guys very much. There's going to be a lot more vinegar. Get ready. I really appreciate it. I appreciate the process and all of your attention and feedback, and letting me put in so many plugs for vinegar. It really is better. It really is.
Well, I will say that I hope you also obtained a bunch of customers from this time. Winners, thank you so much for your effort. We will put checks in the mail on Monday, and we would love to hear how this will help you in your business next year. We want you to come back at the pitch competition. Hopefully it'll be in person, and give us a 3 to 4 minute talk about what you did and how this money helped you, and how you want to continue to have this be a part of other businesses we can help. Rodrigo, we're very excited about the vinegar. Artisan of Sound, I think the world needs to be more musical, and I think brands need to be more musical. So Olivier, we're very grateful. And I can't say enough about how much more gluten-free products we need out there. And all the other contestants, you guys did great work. You have great products. We're excited about how we can help in the future, how we can help in other ways. Never forget that we have a group full of experts, that we have a network full of LGBTQ people who care about each other and want to be there for you to help, and that we will help you in any way that we can to be successful. We are very, very, very fortunate to be a part of this organization. I want to thank our judges again, who are also our board of directors for the 501c3, who are some of our donors. who are definitely the people I go to for advice and leadership as we try to build a chamber that is that serves the needs. If any of you have any ideas, thoughts, concerns, ways you want to be involved, things you want help with, please reach out to us. We are here to serve. Thank you all so much. Congratulations, winners. And we'll see you all at the second annual pitch competition next year.
Thank you very much.
Thank you
Thank
to all
you.
the contestants.
Judges and contestants, please check your email to get personalized feedback from the judges after this call. Thank you.
I'd like to thank Grace and her staff who did an excellent job of organizing and managing us and finding times for us to meet and getting us the material. It really went well, really well. So thank you, staff.
Especially for Michael, who sweat through trying to get through 3 different Zoom calls in one here. So well done all. Thank you.
Great.
Thank you
All
very much.
right. All right, Rodrigo, we're looking for that vinegar. Everybody take care. All right.